You started out this design challenge by characterizing the three diodes in this package, the red, the green, and the blue diodes, and determine what value of resistor you would need so that each diode would have about 15 milliamps when turned on. So I've created that circuit over here. I've used some of the values of those resistors. I'll point those out in a little bit. And of course we have the switches here, and therefore I have this set up such that if we do switch 1 here, so here's the circuit that you designed. Here's the positive power supply coming in over here, and notice that positive power supply ends up coming in here and connects to these 3 different switches, switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3. On the other side of those switches, switch 1 is going to go to the green part of the diode, which you can see comes over here and connects to these 2 resistors right there. Now, those 2 resistors are actually a, 3.5 kilo ohm resistor in parallel with a 430 ohm resistor. And that should give roughly a 383 ohm resistor, which is a little bit below the 404 that we were looking for, but within the tolerance that we had. Switch 2 comes on over here, and notice it connects to this resistor, which is then in series with this resistor. That is a 430 ohm in series with a 27 ohm resistor, and that connects to the red pin of the diode. We've got the third switch connects out here. That's going to go to the blue side of the diode. Now I ran a wire here, which then goes through the breadboard out to here and on into this side here. And then notice what there is there's these 2 parallel resistors again, the same parallel resistors that we had going into the green diode, because we found those should be approximately the same, and so they are connected in here. I know you can't see all those wires really well, but that is basically how the circuit goes. Then that common node, because we know that there's that the other side of those 3 diodes are all connected together into this pin, which goes out and around to the negative side of my power supply, and we've got 9 volts connected to our circuit, so that as we turn these on, we should basically be able to see all of those diodes lit up. Here's another look at that circuit from the side, where once again we see that the series resistors there connect over to the red diode. Meanwhile, we have the parallel resistors going to the green diode there, and the other set of parallel resistors also going to the blue diode. I'm going to turn those on one by one, and we'll see what happens. Here's the red diode. Here's the green diode. And the blue diode. So you each designed that circuit. You found resistor values to put into your circuit to get those diodes to light up. I can actually have different combinations of them. If the green diode and the red diode are both turned on, comes out a little bit more yellow. If we have the green one and the blue one come on, that comes out rather a little bit more cyan. And if that blue one and red one turn on, we have a bit of magenta showing up there. And if we turn them all on, we have a nice white light showing up there. Now you couldn't necessarily see that white light very easily in this particular video, so let's take a look at it a couple of different ways. If I turn on switch 1, we see that the green diode comes on. It is awfully bright, but certainly you can see the reflection down here of just how green that light is. If we turn off the green one and turn on the red one instead, we see we've got a nice red light. And once again, that's fairly bright up here, but you can see the reflection down here quite red. Finally, switch 3, that one turns on the blue light. And the blue light, you can see from the reflection very nicely some blue. Now we could actually have some combinations though here. Here's the blue light by itself. If I add the red diode to that as well, now we have something that's a little bit more purple in here, kind of a magenta. Actually, you can see from the way that that diode is probably that we've got some of the blue on the outside, and then that mixing takes place in the middle. If I go back to just that red one here, and then turn on the green one as well, that green and looks kind of greenish there, but you'll see it's been a little bit up yellowed compared to the green diode all by itself, which we get when I turn that off there. And if I turn the blue one on along with that green one, we see that that comes out a little bit more cyan. There we have our diode circuit all by itself. Let's see those again. We have red, or we have the green one turned on all by itself. Then we have blue. Now, if we add red and blue together, then we'll get the magenta. Do you see the difference? This one is really more of magenta. Go back to the blue to take a look, compare that. When we add green to it, we get this cyan color. When we go back to green, here's what that looks like. And if we add red to it, we get this yellowish color. Well, this doesn't look real yellow. We'll see it again shortly. It looks a little better. Then back to red. And if we put all three together, we have a white light. I have to admit, this doesn't look really white except right in the middle. We'll see it again soon. If I turn down the brightness, this is what the green looks like. Then the yellow, we're adding the red and the green, looks like this. And here is the red by itself. When the blue and the red are put together, we have this nice magenta. And here's the blue all by itself. Finally, if we have the blue and the green together, we have this cyan. And here's what the green looks like all by itself. These were done by cranking down the voltage instead of 9 volts, something lower. There's our white light. We can see here it does look more white, the combination of the three colors. So there we have it. There's our circuit.